modification, it's just kind of a continuation of the one that we did previously, which was how long does it take to clone a General Motors body controller module. Okay, well, we attempted to show you that it was actually pretty quick. So after that video was published on YouTube, we had some people that sent us some emails and said, well, if I want to edit the VIN, what's involved there and how long does that take? So that's the point of this video, as I'm going to show you that. And I'm also going to show you a couple of other things, but the first item is basically how to do it and how long it takes to do it. Okay, so I'm going to put a card up so you can go back and review the first video if you choose to do that, because I'm not going to show you the location of the Eeprom and things like that. Also in this video I'm using the clip, okay, because I showed the AccuTouch probe in the first video and I'm using the clip in this video. Alright, so that being said, let's just go through the VIN editing procedure. Okay, well, step one is basically to set up the programmer and select the part, which I've already done here. And once that's done, then we're going to go to the software. And people have asked, why does your software look like this? Why isn't this a Windows program? Well, the answer is simple. Windows is just wonderful. Anybody that's ever dealt with updates that cause issues with your computer or entanglements caused by the need to upload or get a new .NET framework or any of that, Windows is the product which is never done. But it does things that are not doable with any other operating system other than Windows. Well, our product will run quite honestly, quite simply, without Windows. And I'll put up another card here if you'd like to see that happen. But the reason that we showed this particular screen on this particular computer is because our video capture system works well with this. But as I've said in other videos, it works the same way without Windows as it does with Windows. So that being said, we've already selected the part, which is a 25040 or 25LC040. Which is what's on the component package itself. So the next step is to go to the buffer editor. And for people that have perhaps watched the video and ask, well, how do you do that? Well, here is our command list. These are all the things you can do from the primary command list of the system. And the Eeprom Plus system, although the applications that we're showing on our automotive playlist will do a lot of other devices. So, matter of fact, let's just look at that, because people didn't. There were some questions about, well, how do I pick the device if it's a different device? Okay, well, down here, if you look, it says change device type. So that would be Command 9, and the way that you would select Command 9 is you would use your finger and you would press the 9 key on your keyboard. So I'm going to press 9. And this is our device selection table. You'll notice that we do not make you determine who manufactured your part. This is page 1 of 9. Okay, so we're dealing with EEPROMs. So we're going to go down here. We have flash EEPROMs, flash EEPROMs, EEPROMs, NVRAMs, a lot of different components, and then we get into serial EEPROMs. These are all of the part numbers of the serial EEPROMs which we support. This is the 24 series, this is the 25 series, this is a 93, 95 series. So they're all there, and then we move through other devices, flash microcontrollers, PIC processors, and go back up one here, our Motorola microcontrollers. Okay, so that's another family which finds wide use in automotive modules. So at this point, we're going to let the system. We will normally let the system scan our device selection table so you don't have to search visually through all of these part numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and just let it do that for the 25LC040, and I'm going to press enter, and it's going to find it. Okay, now there's the screen that shows you how to set up the programmer and the adapter, which is shown in the previous video which I referenced. Okay, so right here, Command 5, buffer editor. The way we get to the buffer editor is we press the 5 key. Okay, there's the buffer editor. I'm already hooked to the part. I've already read the part, but I'm going to just point out a few things here because I'll show you how fast the VIN edit is, but on the way, I'll show you a few of the commands that our software supports. So there's the data from the part in the buffer. The buffer is a block of memory which we manage, and we allow you to do lots and lots of different things with it. Okay, but in this case, it just holds the data for this particular device. But if you wanted to clear this data, you would use the clear command. That would be C, and I would just press C for clear buffer. And you can see down in the lower left-hand corner, you have 3 options. Clear it to 0, clear it to 1, or just clear the size of the part. So I'm just going to clear the size of the part, so I'm going to press C again, and the data disappears. All right, now, let's go ahead and do the VIN edit. So we're going to use Command G, which is get valid data. Now let's see. I normally show you the quick view command, but since you know the data is there, I'll press Q for quick view. There's the data, meaning we are attached to the part. Now I'm going to press G, which is going to read the part, then compare the part, and we know we have a good read. All right, well, where is the VIN in this particular module? The VIN is right here. Okay, it starts here at 17 characters. There are 16 characters per line. Okay, so we have 15. And then we go to the next line, 16 and 17. So that's the VIN. All right, well, what is the VIN that we want to change it to? It is this. All right, which is 1G CHTC FE7C8202929. All right, so how do we do that? Okay, well, we go back to our software, and we're going to use the modify command. Well, how do you know what the modify command is? How would you know that? Okay, well, if you wanted to know about the commands that are available to you, you would press the question mark key. And there is one of 2 pages of commands which will show you all of the things that you can do in the buffer editor. All right, so you can do a variety of things from modify to fill to search. Anyway, if you wanted to know what command to use to accomplish a certain task, you can reference it by using just the help screen that we provide. Here is the M command, modify buffer, and this is the syntax to use. So let's do that. Here's the VIN, and it starts on line 40. Actually, yes, it starts on line 40 in location 41. All right. The reason I say 40, it's not 40. It's 40. It's hexadecimal. Okay, so we know the VIN starts here. This is address 441 on line 40, and it's 17 digits. So we have 1 through 15 here, since each line is 16 characters. 15 and then 16 and 17. Okay, so that's the VIN. And over here, these human readable characters are the actual VIN as they would be read by a human being. Okay, so let's just go ahead and we're going to use the modify command. We're going to press M for modify, and then it's going to want to know where you want to modify. So we're going to start modifying at 4.1. 4.1, and then we're going to press enter. Okay, now we have several things that have happened that you can see. One is that we have an indicating cursor here where we're going to start the modification. Up here we have what we call the edit window. There's the address, there's the data which is at the edit window. And then over here we have the corresponding ASCII location where the human readable characters are displayed. But we don't want to enter the hexadecimal values that represent the VIN digits. We want to do the easy thing, which is just to change the VIN number using actual human readable characters, meaning we want to use ASCII characters. So what we do is, if you look down here, it says entry base is currently hex. We don't want that. We want to change it to ASCII. So you just press tab to change. So I'm going to press the tab key. Now the entry base is now ASCII. So we can proceed to go ahead and enter the digits that we need in order to alter the VIN number. So since we don't have to change any but the last 6, we'll just move over. I'm using the arrow key to move over here. And we are at 8, 1. And let's see, we need to change the one right before that. Okay, so that would be C8. And then it's going to be 202292. Okay, so now we've modified the VIN. The VIN has changed. And we're done. We've edited the VIN. So let's get out of the modify command. We press escape to do that. If you notice down here, we tell you modify buffer, escape to exit. And when we press escape, we're going to leave the modify mode and go back to just the regular buffer editor. Well, if you've seen with the cloning video, all we have to do now is program it with the altered VIN. So let's do that. We're going to program it using command 2. So I'm going to press that 2 key. Program from buffer start. Yes or no? Yes. We're going to say program. And now the VIN is modified. If you want to confirm that, we can clear the information display. Go back here to the buffer editor. Let's just clear this data from the buffer and read it again. Press G. And there you can see that the VIN is changed. Okay, so that's all we have to do. We are now done editing that VIN. A little piece of information that you might find useful is if you edit the VIN and there's any other information necessary in order for the vehicle to start, it won't start. Okay, meaning that if the VIN is the only information that the module needs in order to live happily in the module community of the vehicle, then the VIN edit and change is fine. But if it's a transponder-based immobilizing system, meaning the key data is also stored in the Eeprom, then modifying the VIN will not solve the problem, okay, of the car not running. You're going to have to also have the key information transferred along with the modified VIN. And the best way to do that is what we did before, which is a clone. Okay. But I wanted to do this to show you how easy it is if you choose just to go ahead and modify the VIN. Alright, well that's all I'm going to show you in this video. We've done other VIN edit videos. There are plenty on our YouTube channel. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is, how quickly you can do it. And as I said, that's going to wrap up this video. So if you found the content useful and you like this kind of content, we would appreciate it if you'd give us a like. If you want to see more of this content, you can subscribe because we're trying to post more videos now. There are many tools that are available, and after talking to a number of customers, there seems to be a lot of confusion about what to buy, what does what. And what it is that we sell is a tool that works specifically with the memory components on automotive module circuit assemblies. Okay, there are tools that where you solder wires onto circuit assemblies, and you're doing bench work where you're talking to the module over the CAN bus, and there's just a plethora of these tools. It seems like every time you turn around, there's another prog, ultra prog, super prog, mega prog, and it's just endless. Well, modules for the last almost 40 years for the storage of small amounts of data have used EEPROMs. EEPROMs for vehicle applications, EEPROMs and Motorola microcontrollers is what we do and what we do best. We do a bunch of other memory parts, but those are the ones that are you primarily find in vehicle modules. And although you might think that's a limitation, and it is somewhat for our tool, it is, but what we do well. And if your requirement is to basically get a customer's car repaired or fixed, and you find a defective module, and you find in your defective module an EEPROM, if you watched the previous video, you saw us clone it in less than 8 minutes. And since that's the kind of part that you will encounter, that's the kind of time you'll invest in solving that problem. So anyway, as I said, if you would like more information, also if you would like to contact us, you can send us an email, you can call us on the phone, and we will talk to you. But all of the information that you would need to contact us, or if you would choose to purchase, which we would greatly appreciate if you would choose to purchase one of our kits, it's located on our website. And our website is arlabs.com.